Hello and welcome to round 3 of Dad and Lad's 5-word challenge. This is my story. But first, this story is dedicated to a little lady whose birthday it is today. But before we start, let's just recap the words I had to work with. So, I had hospital, box, clock, coat and wizard. It was still dark when an excited Sofia bounced out of bed and woke up her sisters before running into her mum's room, shouting, "It's my birthday!" as she jumped up and down on the bed excitedly. "Morning, sweetie. Happy birthday," her mum said in reply as she began to rub the sleepy dust from her eyes. Sofia bounced up and down on the bed with so much energy that her mum was almost catapulted out through the window. "Where's my presents? Have I got a unicorn? What about a real Isabella?" The words kept coming out so fast, her poor mum could not keep up. This was far too much excitement first thing in the morning, especially without her first coffee of the day. The little girl raced downstairs, charging around like a bull in a china shop, banging into things as her feet refused to stop. That was until she saw what she was looking for. There were balloons attached to weighted strings floating in the air, and more balloons on the floor, as well as banners on the wall and a happy birthday Sofia sign sat in front of a pile of presents. Not a big pile, but enough to make this little one squeal with anticipation. All children love presents. Paper flew around the room as it was torn off from each gift to reveal the goodies inside. There may not have been a unicorn or a real-life Encanto character, but Sofia was still content with everything that she had received. But after so much exercise, her tummy began to rumble. "Mummy, I'm hungry. May I have some breakfast, please?" Phew, her mum thought, getting the girls to the table. Moment to finally get that kettle on while I prepare her favourite, pancakes. The girls loved birthdays in this house, as it meant they got really yummy breakfasts. After eating, they all got ready. They had a party to get to. Yeah. It took Sofia ages to choose what to wear, as she had a couple of outfits as presents. In the end, the little girl opted to dress up like her favourite Disney character. "Come on, Sofia, get your coat, ding, on, or you'll be late for the party," Mum said, ushering the others out of the door whilst making sure she had everything. The party was a trampoline party. Lots and lots of trampolines and obstacles spread over a big area inside a huge building. It was a child's paradise. Sofia and her sisters arrived in no time. Not because her mum was speeding, that would be naughty. No, it didn't take long because it was literally 5 minutes away. There were people already waiting for them, and as they parked their car, the excited screams of children began to rise. More and more began to turn up as the children were checked in one by one. When everyone was accounted for, the doors to the jumping and bouncing kingdom of fun opened. It was time for the party to begin. Sophia led the charge as the excited children ran screaming over each other, leaving the parents rubbing their ears to stop the constant ringing they all had from the high-pitched noise, before some retreated to the quieter corner of the cafe. Jump, bounce, jump, bounce, jump, bounce, the little ones did as bodies flew up in the air before landing again with huge smiles on their faces, all under the watchful eye of Sophia's mummy. That was until disaster struck. The birthday girl jumped off an obstacle, heading for the middle of a large springy mattress, when an older child bounced from one trampoline to another. They were both heading for the same destination. Time seemed to slow as the two flying bodies got closer and closer. Sophia's mum dropped her drink, mouth open wide. No words would come out. As the children collided, the other child landing on poor Sophia. All the noise seemed to stop as everyone heard a crack and a sudden scream of "Mummy!" It was, of course, a complete accident, but it was clear there was something quite wrong. Grown-ups appeared from everywhere. Sophia's mum and sisters ran to the little girl's aid. Although she was one tough cookie, this was not on the birthday menu. After what seemed like a lifetime, as the large clock, ting, on the wall slowly ticked by, a doctor arrived. Sophia's leg was broken. She would have to go to the hospital. Ding! An ambulance was not something Sophia had been in before, and despite the discomfort she was clearly experiencing, she was loving the ride. "Nina, Nina, Nina," she kept repeating as the speeding first aid cupboard on wheels weaved through traffic, flashing its blue lights as it made its way to the hospital. Once it came to a stop, the back doors flew open, making Sophia and her mum jump. Sophia's sister had gone home with Nanny and Grandad, while they waited for their sister to return. Stood at the doors of the ambulance was a man wearing a white coat. Behind him, lots of nurses waited to whisk the little girl inside to make her feel better as quickly as possible. They never liked to see children in pain, especially on their birthday. "Hello, young lady, my name is Dr. Leggett, and my team and I will have you fixed again in no time. Right, team, let's rush this princess inside," the doctor said reassuringly. "You mean Leggett, doctor?" The nurses chuckled. Sophia did not get the joke, but her mum did, giving a little smile. However, that was the intention of the whole team, to keep both mum and daughter nice and calm. "Never gets old, that one," the doctor replied, pulling a funny face to the injured, confused-looking child. As they took her out of the ambulance, Sophia loved funny faces and tried giving one of her own in return. Although it wasn't quite quick, the doctors did indeed fix the birthday girl's leg, and after a few hours she was hobbling out of the hospital wearing a new pink fashion accessory, a full-length plaster cast. It was dark by the time they got home again, the mood somewhat different to the one they left the house to earlier that day. After lots of hugs in the doorway, Sophia hopped into the front room to be greeted by a large box, ding, wrapped with shiny paper and a pretty pink ribbon bow. Nanny and Grandad presented the gift to the little girl, who was now perched on the sofa. This time, paper didn't fly around the room. It was all a little awkward looking, actually. Once unwrapped, there was a quizzical look on the child's face. "What is it?" Sophia said sheepishly. Grandad sat by her side and said, "It's a wizard. Bing! And wizards are magic. Whenever you feel sad before going to bed, tell him your troubles, and he will try to fix them while you sleep. So, when you wake up, everything will feel a little better." Sophia said thank you, but clearly it was not the day she had hoped, and wearily turned to her mum and said, "Mummy, I'm tired. Can I go to bed now, please? And oh, don't forget the wizard." The poor little girl was ever so sad when she rested her head on a pillow and closed her eyes, but not before talking to the wizard first. Morning came. This is odd, Sophia's mum thought, as she stood in the kitchen sipping her coffee. The little girl's sisters sat patiently at the table. "I'm going to have to wake your sister up, or we will be late," Sophia's mum declared. Upstairs she went. "Sophia, sweetie, it's time to get up," she said, trying to stir the sleeping child. A yawn. One eye opened, and then the other. A grunt and a groan before the rubbing of eyes. "Morning, Mummy." "Happy birthday, Sophia," was the roar of her sisters as they charged into the room. "We've been waiting ages for our pancakes." "What?" Sophia thought to herself. "My birthday was yesterday. And my leg. Wait, it doesn't hurt." She peered under the covers. The plaster cast was gone. Her leg moved freely. Finally, she looked around the room. "Mummy, where's my wizard?" she said. Before the little girl's mum had a chance to finish the question, Sophia bounced out of bed, jumped on her mum's bed, and ran around the house excitedly. The day went well, including the party. And when they got home, Nanny and Grandad's present was waiting for her. But it was much smaller than she remembered. "Grandad, is it a wizard?" she asked. Sophia's mum and Nanny looked at each other, rather puzzled. But Grandad knew. "No, it's not a wizard. He has worked enough magic for one day," he said to the grinning child, giving her a knowing wink before finishing with, "Happy birthday, Sophia."